And now, this week's edition of Big Face with your host, Samantha Jane Tilton.
Hey guys, welcome to Big Face. I'm your host, Samantha Jane Tilton. My guest today, actor and producer, Stacey Van Gorder, or Van Gorder, if you...
Van Gorder. The
We just had a whole
line of Van Gorders. Pronounced many different ways.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, I love seeing you. I love your shirt.
Yes,
we did not coordinate.
We did not. And Stacey knows this because I just showed her. If you guys see the lighting changing, for whatever reason my camera does this is actually like pink. I actually match Stacey even more. We right on point, but you guys can't tell. We just started.
Fabulous.
You are looking fabulous. Did you like the picture I sent you?
I love it.
I loved it too. So we just had like a whole little powwow. Guys, you should know this. Whenever I have a guest on, I like to jump right in. I want you guys to hear everything that we're hearing and talking about. So we didn't really talk about much, but even in like the few minutes of doing sound check, we're like, bah, 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 bah. Like,
it's so good to see you.
I know. It's so good to see you. It really is.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening. So we were talking about some sound issues I had with Ray Harrington's episode last. And thank you for listening, A. Yes, I appreciate that.
And when your voice went really low, it sounded sexy, for sure.
So sexy.
It's great.
So you have been, I want to say this, and you're always awesome. And every time.
Oh, thanks.
You're always lovely. But I have to tell you guys this, Stacey has been such an awesome support of Big Face since I started it. You really have, like, she reposts my things on her story. You always send love, support, you listen. That means a lot. It means a lot. You know, that's not everybody.
I loved seeing that you were doing this. I was just blown away because I met Sammy through Jen Halpern the first time, who's an amazing casting director in person. Oh my gosh, just one of my favorite people.
She's the
and then I just kept seeing you.
Yes, I know. Right.
And you always have a smile on your face. Always
Thank you.
Are happy. I mean, like, really, and in the room, the casting room, you are supportive. You're going to get the best take. You are really work it. And I know there's that saying, stay in your own lane. And I kind of hate that. I hate that saying because I'm like, why would you stay in your own lane? Why wouldn't you pass, go into the other lane? Because, life could be a little more exciting. So I loved when I saw that you were doing this. And I feel like we are in such a world where we're creatives and we want to explore so many different things. So why not try different things and support each other? Like, I don't know. So I loved seeing you do this. And
thank you.
You had Ramona Patera on, who I love. And
she's
David.
Wonderful.
She's so wonderful. And David is amazing as a casting director, playwright. Like, so many great people. You've had so many great guests on. So everyone go back and listen to all the other podcasts.
But that's the thing is that, and like I like having people on that just have always felt genuine to me. Like, Stacey and I don't know each other super well. We know each other from casting. So I'm a casting director, and I don't even know if you knew I'm an actor also, but it's like, it's
I do now.
You do now.
Actually, I only know from I know from David because David has such a great eye for talent, and he told me that you were in, I think, one of his last shorts that he had written and produced. And he said you were just amazing, which I don't doubt at all. So I love that you're
so nice
acting.
Of him.
Wait, and you were also just in something recently, right? Were you on set?
I don't know. Was I? Oh,
I saw something.
Like what? When are we now?
I totally feel like everything is a blur. Like,
it really
is.
I
said something the other day, like, I saw this the other day, and someone's like, that was yesterday. I'm like, oh, it was.
I straight up don't. This COVID time has been really strange. But I was on set. We were shooting my friend Lauren Tobes' new children's show. And so we were on the farm shooting the dairy episode. It's teaching kids. I don't know how much I should say, but yes, it was wonderful. Yeah.
You have something exciting coming.
I got to milk a cow.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my God. Weird and exciting.
And very
definitely
exciting.
not in your lane for sure.
They were like, so we have
Sure.
somebody, we have a stand-in for you that's going to milk the cow. And I was like, no, I want to milk the cow. And they were like, do you know how? And I was like, no, but I want to.
Yeah. Why
did.
wouldn't you?
Right. Okay.
Some job is going to come up and they'll be like, well, you need the experience of milking cows.
I know.
Samantha's got it.
Special skills.
Right. Was it weird though, touching the udder?
I love animals. So I'm like, bring it on. Bring on an animal. I want to get to know you. I want to know all about you. I love them.
Were you like,
yeah.
no.
No, but as soon as the owner like tried to show me how to do it, I squirted him in the face.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
I meant well.
Oh my God. He's like, great. Thank you.
He's like, seriously? Seriously. I just showed you. So tell me about you.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you? What are you up to?
What
have you been up to during this time? Yeah.
Oh my God. During this time, well, I did a lot of homeschooling during this time.
Yeah.
And then now my kids are actually back. It was just such a weird, like you said, it was such a weird time.
So weird.
And
Yeah.
I feel like every day was a roller coaster of emotion for sure.
Yeah.
And I had a project I was producing. I had booked a job on a cruise line and I was supposed to fly out to do the cruise and that got canceled. And
When was that?
That was devastating. That was
When was
March. March
Wow.
14th, I think. I
Okay.
only remember because I think the world shut down like March 17th.
Yep. I remember 12th. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
12th,
Like around there.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry guys. So so that was disappointing because I was like, oh, a week in Miami or Bermuda. Sure, amazing.
What were you, it was you would have been acting, doing
I would just be
commercial
selling the
or-
cruise line, acting. Yeah, commercial. Yeah. So, but you know what? That was through Ramona, actually. I booked that through Ramona.
I believe it.
She's just such a supporter and so wonderful. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I hadn't booked for her in a while. And I was so happy to book something for her. Like as actors, it's like, I know a lot of actors are like, well, my agent's not getting me stuff and there's all that. But I'm kind of like, I'm not booking for my agent. You know, like I feel like a sense of responsibility.
Agents love you then.
I'm sure.
Because not everybody thinks like that. So that's really
right.
wonderful.
Well, I kind of, I love my agents, you know, too, because now I've got a few I've been working with for many years. And
I was going to ask you who you work with. And you don't have to say it on air if you don't want, but you could tell me after.
Yeah.
Or you could say it. Either way.
I'm telling you. I love them all. So like
it's not
Ramona
like
I've been with. I'm like that one. No, I work with Ramona. I work with Take 3 for Legit. I am
awesome.
With Eddie. I work with Stephanie Field for a lot of commercial stuff. She's like a powerhouse. I love her.
I've heard that.
She is a tiger, and that's what you want. You want someone like rooting for you and on your team, and just knowing who you are and how to sell you. Like all of that is huge. And she picks up the phone when I call, and all of those little things that make such a big difference. And then also I've been with Jamie Baker for about 10 years. And, you know, I feel like we have a marriage now. We know each other. We have
kind of how that happens, right?
Yeah, it does. I feel like I'm married to all of them in different ways. Yeah.
That's so awesome. You know, and like, so you work with a lot of different people. That's really great.
Yeah, good.
That's
good
a lot
people,
of,
I think, too.
Yeah.
We found our group,
Hair just fell
I
up.
think, too. Ooh.
I'm just trying to get out of my face. I'm so sick. I'm going camping
who do you
tomorrow.
work with? Do you mind if I ask who you
No,
work with?
no. That's okay. No, yeah. And it's actually something we'll talk more about
Sure.
all of this stuff actually. But yeah, I work with Dreammaker Talent Management.
I just heard about them more recently too. Yeah.
Yeah, Marianne. And then and with Ramona for commercial.
Oh yeah.
It's been and like you have like looking to add to your roster of like they have people on their roster and like so do you, you know, and I kind of want that as well, but we hit a point where it's weird.
Not the best time to find an agent or more agents or right, like that kind of thing. There was nothing happening. So very strange.
it's like as soon as, it's funny because as soon as all of this happened, I had gotten on like a, you know, even more like acting's coming first. I was getting new headshots done. I was like doing all of it. And that was like,
did you get the new headshots?
that's it. No, canceled.
You didn't get them. They canceled.
No. I took those ones myself. That the new picture. So, and Stacey's lovely enough to comment. And,
oh my God! Wait, I love the what do you call it? Wait, how do you say it? You're like
which?
My where you take the pictures of yourself, your moment with yourself. There's a way that you say it.
Oh, my selfie photo shoot, or like my photo play date. When I say my photo play date.
They're such great pictures, though.
Thank you.
You glow. You look great. You have such great lips.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, the camera's really fantastic at that.
But how fun is that? Because now the cameras are so amazing. You could do it. You really could do it and sell yourself. And they don't want polished shots all the time, you know?
Right. You know, some pictures, I love when you really see somebody's essence in their picture, you know, like, those, like I was coaching somebody recently and going through all of his headshots with him. And it's interesting to have the casting director's eye for that kind of stuff too. But I feel like I learned that over time, even as when my acting teacher, my first one was like, you need something that's in the eyes. And it's like, I look for very specific things. And I think him and I, anyway, we found these shots that maybe he wouldn't have thought otherwise, but I'm like, these are so interesting. Like you know how it is with headshots. For those of you that don't know. What
do you look for in him? What do you look for in the headshots?
Well, it depends. Like, so if I know, definitely that's a big one for me is the eyes. Like, I was speaking with somebody recently that just got new shots done, and they did it with a photographer who's not necessarily like a headshot photographer, but a portrait photographer. And so there's a lot of shadow on their face. These pictures are gorgeous. He got like such unbelievable photos of himself that showed, it's like he's a different person. He looks like him, but it's like a totally different character in so many of the shots, which is fascinating. But I told him as a headshot, he's got to find ones that have light, or like if he can get them to edit them, there's more light. Because we get a headshot right before we get called in or don't. And for them to see us, if they don't know us, you want something that like, when you look into your eyes, you're like,
you see it. Yep.
And like, and what? Like maybe it makes you question.
What are you
makes
saying?
You think.
Yeah.
Something, it just makes you, something that makes you go, you know? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that. But it's so true. Like, are we going to do a dance part again?
Oh, yes.
But seriously, I think you're right though. It's like you need something that you can find in their eyes that's reading for whatever character you're casting for. And I think that too much makeup is a distraction, too much hair is a distraction, sometimes clothes is distraction. You just need it as simplicity as possible. And even then, like sometimes, like I'm not a big fan of retouching, because if lighting's great and makeup's great, you really don't need it.
Keep it as simple as possible.
You want to see like the eyes, you want to see the imperfections.
Yes.
Even if you have like some acne, sometimes that actually works for you. I don't know.
It's really interesting. It's like you want it to be a clean palette of like that. Yeah. This is who I am, and that. It should be that people can look at it and go, if we did this, she could look like this. If we did this, but when it's too specific, too much makeup, hair a very specific styled way, you could be seen as that type, that character, and not much else. Yeah.
Right. And I don't like that. I really love versatility for sure. Because we're actors. We want to be versatile in so many ways. So I totally agree with you. I try to have like different looks, different moods. Commercial though is definitely different too, don't you think? Like I feel like you need those, you need the teeth.
You need the teeth.
Sure.
Yes. You okay? You're right there.
Yeah. I almost lost my mic.
I do that during so many episodes. I'm like, boom, or my cats just knock it over. I'm like, that's helpful.
Oh no. I laughed the
Thanks
cat
for that,
out.
guys.
Oh my God. Wait. I have to say, my friend, do you know Mia Caress?
Yes.
Mia Caress. Okay. So I have like this little pod of women that we've been auditioning with together for about 10 years. And we just kind of, she's lovely. And we just kind of talk about auditions coming in and the setups. And I have to say, the setups are crazy. And she was like, I'm going to have a shirt made that says, I love casting directors. So I got us all these mugs because it has been a bitch. It has been a bitch. I'm telling you, the setups. And then it's like, you know, I've seen it in the room. Like, I've been the first person when the casting director is like, okay, wait, what does the client want? Okay, let's figure this out. All right, now we have to be close, and figuring it out and then doing it, you have to do it, I don't know, like 100 times. Like, at least. Yeah. It was easy for us. It was easy for us to just pop in, mingle, and then we're out of there. And now it's like a simple audition. Are you getting this? A simple audition is like an hour or more. It's insane.
Have you been doing auditions? Like, so are you speaking about self-tape auditions for what they want you to set up?
Oh yeah.
Like what they want set up.
Have you been going? Yeah. I'm sure you're going through this too, right? Like, but now it's just for you. And there's good things, right? You get extra takes, you can play, you can work with lighting, but there was one, they were like,
tell me. I'm like, let's hear it. Because this is, those of you that don't know this business, there's so much that goes into this. Like, you would have no idea that a simple audition could be like what Stacey's about to tell us. So go ahead.
So, okay, let me think. So there's the ones that are like a close-up, right, of your face and your slate, location, agency. Are you willing to travel nowadays, right? They don't do the COVID questions, not yet. You had to go through the second level for that one, right?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, now medium shot, and we want you to do this with the lines, maybe. And then we'll do
with the lines.
You need a full body, maybe. For this one. Okay, so with the lines for this one, 2 takes. Okay, then you need to pan down. I don't know how people in small New York City apartments are getting a full body. I mean, like, it's insane.
Me and my boyfriend live in a studio. It's like go on the whole other end.
Down. And you have your boyfriend. Like, if you don't have someone to read with you or to help you with the zoom down or the zoom in.
Yes.
Or I'm like constantly bouncing around my lights to push record and then going around to the
I got a trick for you, like, by the way.
Yeah, tell me.
Because this is like a new, the clicker. So for those of you that don't know, a Bluetooth clicker for your phone, if that's what you're recording on,
Someone
let's say.
Just meant, yeah.
And I got a great one. It was like, not even $20. I got it off Amazon.
Oh
This is an Amazon commercial. And it's like, hi, start, stop. My boyfriend always helps me record. And he's like, do you need my help? And I was like, I think I'll let you off the hook for this one. I think I got it with the clicker.
Oh my God. Done. Amazon just made money.
That's what I know. Right. Way to go.
I have to do that for sure, because I feel like that would at least eliminate one thing, you know, but then they have you in the kitchen. They're like, we want you to be in the kitchen. And I have my daughter always says, we have a blended family. So we have, this is the first time I've actually during this quarantine period been, auditioning with my kids, and only because it's a self-tape in their home and I've been able to do it, and casting is open to it, and clients are open to mixed race families. My husband's Chinese, so it's kind of this whole different thing. So they're like, it is great.
Not that he's Chinese. Like, it's not great that he's Chinese. It's great that
it is amazing he's Chinese.
That is phenomenal. He's got an ethnicity.
Thank you. But I think it's like, they're like, cook in the kitchen with your kids, bake cookies, go outside and have your daughter run to you, then turn the camera around and have her greet you from that angle. I'm like, we are shooting the spot. This is crazy.
Which is really funny, because how do they expect people to, like, if you don't, first of all, and there's a lot of isolation going on, like, how are you going to get somebody to, especially when it was bad, you really couldn't have anybody kind of help you. So it's like kind of difficult to get this stuff done. I love that mug. We need,
I'll send you one.
The still of that is going to be what's posted with this episode, because it's just so good. I can't miss that.
But you're right. So wait, the first commercial I booked during this whole time period, it was kind of crazy, but when I got on set, I said, how have you guys been shooting the last couple weeks? Like they were a couple of weeks in with shooting a lot of stuff. And they said that they had booked a lot of actor women with their DP husbands. And so they were able to, so they could shoot at home. And so they got great footage. The DPs had the equipment and they were able to do some work.
That makes sense. Great. That's pretty cool.
That was great. Right. I was like, okay, that worked for them. Things that maybe never would have worked in the past, my family booking stuff or whatever, you know, it's happening. So.
And which could change the course of, I have no idea if you even want your kids involved in this world or if they, no. I know.
But listen,
I get it.
Hey,
I mean, right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If they wanted to, if it's something, if it was like, how many kids do you have?
It's their passion. My husband and I have 5 together. So we have a tribe of children.
You have a tribe, man. You have an army going on there. Congrats. That's wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Did you grow up in a big family?
What? You always what? I just have a brother and sister. Yeah. So not that big.
Little fly.
How about you?
I have one brother, but I always wanted, I think I always
5
wished
kids?
we had back in the day when I was a wee little younger, I was like, I want 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl. Like now I'd be like grateful if I can be a mom one day, which is what I want. And to be able to have a healthy child. And that's all I care about. I would love to be a mom one day. It's a beautiful, it's wonderful. I mean,
yeah, I think so too. It's wonderful. I always wanted 1. So 5, I was like, ooh, okay.
We kind of flip-flop there.
Yeah. It's all happy chaos. I always say it's happy chaos because it's never not chaos, really, you know?
How could it not be?
Right now they're all locked downstairs. They're all locked downstairs. And like, if they come up, I'm like, you'll see another woman come out of here. Like, don't come in. No, they're pretty great.
Oh my God, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Where do you live?
Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, right by the GW in Fort Lee. Yeah.
Very nice.
You're in Brooklyn? You're in Brooklyn?
No, I'm in Queens.
Oh, Queens. Okay.
I'm a Queensy girl. Not originally. I'm from Long Island originally, but yeah, but Queens is so funny. I like hate Brooklyn people because I'm like, you're so far. Why are you so far?
Why are you so far? And why does everyone think you're so popular?
I know.
Queens is where it's at.
Come to Queens. I know. I think Queens is great. It really is.
Astoria has the best restaurants for the seafood.
Forest Hills, yes. Oh, Astoria has great restaurants. It really does.
It really does. Love.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Your producer.
I feel like we can talk about everything.
I know. I wish I went like a little glass of wine. I feel like we can have a whole hang session.
This is vodka.
That's what. Got on it without me.
We'll plan better next time.
Yeah, seriously. So tell me. So you wrote to me that you were a producer, and what was that?
Yeah,
that was you, right?
That was my house phone.
Oh, okay.
House phones.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
I feel like people should. My boyfriend's parents, family, they live in like the sticks in the sticks. It's not the sticks, but they live out in some woodsy area in Massachusetts. He's from Boston, and they got rid of their house phone. So talking to them is the worst. Not because they're not lovely, but because it's like,
hello.
We're like, John's like, I can't hear you. John's my boyfriend. I can't hear you. Then they walk like,
frustrating.
It's so frustrating. You just want to talk to them.
We will have the Spectrum guy there tomorrow so we can have conversations.
I know. It's so insane. So tell me, producer. Yes. So I wanted to ask you more about that. About being a producer.
All right. Well, I had Jamie Baker was like, you need to produce your own thing, create your own vehicle. So I did something with my stepdaughter about 5 years ago. And I was actually just talking to her about that before. I was like, that was so crazy. And I remember saying to you, why am I doing this? And she's like, well, why not? I'm like, damn it, you're right. And I remember I had to do it, and I had to do it with her. And it was such a great experience. And then one of my good friends is a DP, and he had an idea, and then we produced something together. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this world is so small. And we meet people all the time who know other people. Oh my God, you had Happy Anderson on on your podcast, and I grew up with Happy.
That
he
was
taught
the
me how to
funniest thing.
collect tadpoles, like as a kid. His mom babysat me,
which was so cool. It's like, no, because I'm like, you're like, I've known him forever, and I'm like, oh, through acting. But it's like, no, his mom babysat you, which is so cool.
And then we kept meeting. Like I'd meet other actors and casting directors, and they're like, oh, Happy, because they'd see we're connected on social media. And I'm like, yeah. And then at one point, someone was like, oh, do you guys talk? And I was like, I'm waiting for it to happen where we run into each other as adults, and we did. Going into an audition, all of a sudden it was like, oh, Happy. And it was so great, because you meet people. I'm from a small town in upstate New York, so when you meet anyone from back home, it's like, it's like
That's
family.
so nice.
We didn't have that many people around, so it was just us. And we had, in between us was Aidan Quinn, the actor, and I babysat for Aidan, and he walked his dog. So it was kind of, I guess we were both influenced a little bit by Aidan Quinn. It was kind of crazy.
That's so funny and really cool.
Yeah.
And interesting that you both wound up doing this.
Acting. I know, so crazy. But as far as producing goes, I think that it just kind of happens. Like, that was my thing. But then all of a sudden you produce, and you go to these film festivals, and you're meeting other producers and other creatives. And then you start coming up with more ideas. And the last thing that I produced on my own was a pilot, because I was like, I've done my short films, let me get a TV show. And it was female empowered, Me Too, really loved the premise.
Wow.
And I remember going to Janine DeTulio. She's an amazing comedy writer at Kimball Studios. You know,
I
Janine?
know that name. Yeah, I know that name. I'm like, I wonder if I actually know her. I know that name, definitely.
You met. She's written for Comedy Central, had her own woman show for years. Like, amazing. Read the script and was like, this is great, but that's not it's like, I trust you to do the script, I trust you to get the actors, Stace, but that's the easy part. And I'm like, really? And she's like, the hard part is getting it seen, getting it distributed, and she's absolutely right. So I learned a lot about that a few years ago for this pilot I did, and that was the hard part. And that's where the real producing goes in. I mean, like, you have to solicit production companies and do all this stuff. And we actually found a production company in London. Here's a tip, actors: go outside the US. And
that's a tip for everything with life. Go outside the US.
Oh my God, totally. You want to learn about the US really unbiased? Go outside the US.
Go out there.
So true. Oh my God. But
really
these
true.
companies, like, you could produce so much more or have things produced outside the US. Someone mentioned that to me, and I started looking at all these companies and got in touch with one, and they were interested in it. We created a sizzle, and ultimately they passed, but I worked my ass off to get it in front of them and seen. And that's part of this, this whole industry is like, you just hope someone can see your work. You hope that someone will give you some feedback so that you can just go on to something else, to move on to whatever next project it is or whatever role it is. Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you this, but I think like your daughter said to you, I know you're an open book. I already know, but your daughter said like, you're like, why am I doing this? And she's like, why not? And I feel like that is such an intelligent, beautiful thing to say, because that's
so
the
simple.
truth.
It's so simple. Yeah.
And it's all of us. I mean, I'll speak for myself. Why not? Yeah. I know the reason for me, why not, is always my own fears or ideas of myself or future or
oh my God.
things I
Actors
learned.
are the worst self-sabotagers.
The worst.
I feel like actors are the worst. You gotta like shut that little, we all have it. We all have that little voice that's like, well, why are you going to do that? Or you're not pretty enough, or you're not, smooth enough.
Funny enough. Nothing.
Better than you. All of those things.
All
and you're
of
like, why did I get booked? They should have booked them. And it's like, you gotta shut that shit down.
Yep.
You really do.
Shut that shit right down. I know. But that's why that's why I love, that's why I teach actors. That's why I coach actors. That's why I love casting. Cause I am one of us. And I have so much compassion and understanding because I am so there and can be there in my head. And it takes so much time. For me, it's taken so much time to go, why not? Why not me? Or why not do it? Or why not take a chance? What's the worst that could happen? It fails. I do terrible. I learned from it.
You're rejected. We're rejected all the time. All the time.
Exactly.
It's true. But you're one of the best coaches to have, the acting coach. My coach, he's an actor as well, Matt Newton at MN Acting Studio. He's so great. That name. But he's always the one that's like, it's not about you. It's really not. Most of the time, it's not about you. You can bring the best performance ever, but they wanted a blonde, or they wanted, someone a little different. I don't know, or they cut the part, or so many
Scrap
things.
The entire commercial, or chose somebody
you would never know.
And you never know. And this is what I say to people. I've been in the rooms where sorry, if I talked over you, you froze for a sec. So if that happens, just tell me, because I apologize.
Okay. I have no clue. Looking
happens, people. Yes. It's happened to people where they're like, I thought I did really well. And they did. And the people, the clients and everything love them, but then they're like, but this woman, and then she's too much like, this other woman, and then then they have to pick a different race for the blah blah blah, and it's like that person would have gotten it, but just this other thing shift. There's so much out of our control.
So much out of our control, and so much we'll never know about. And if you're that type of person who needs to know everything, then you're going to suffer in this industry, because you have to be okay with not knowing your call time until 11 o'clock the night before, or where you're going to shoot.
I say that to my boyfriend, and he's like, "That's insane." I'm like, "I know." It's insane to not know until 11 o'clock the night before. It's insane.
Oh my God. I recently booked something, and it was with real people or whatever. And I remember one of the real people was like, "Hey, what time tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Don't worry, it'll come." They're like, "Really? It's 8 o'clock. And I'm like, "Oh, it'll come. Wait for it."
This is early,
you don't know kids. Unless you've been on set. Yes. They have to finish their day, figure it out. It's a thing. You get it once you're doing the 14-hour days and realizing, okay, you don't know until.
But it's especially for someone like me. Sorry if you can hear the sirens, but for someone like me, if I got to be up ass early, I want to be in bed by 9:30. But you can't go to bed. You got to wait. You got to wait, and then you got to prepare.
Yeah.
I
know. You know what I realized?
Hard business,
I'm
folks.
Always better. It's so hard. The waiting is torturous. It's really a lot of waiting.
They always say
patience. We all have to learn patience, right? With everything.
It's a virtue. Yep, exactly.
Oh,
but they always say being on set is it's a whole lot of hurry up and wait. That's what you hear all the time in this business. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
You do that so much,
My husband went to set with my son. It was because I knew Alison Twadziak. Do you know her?
Yes.
She's one of my favorite casting people ever. And she just reached out to me once. It was like, "Does your son want to do this?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let me ask him." And he's like, "How much does it pay?" And I was like, "Okay, so not the acting bug. He's got the money bug." But
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's freaking awesome.
We sent in a 20-second video, and he booked it. It was crazy, out of everything, of course. It was the second take. He didn't care. 20 seconds. And then next thing you know, we're flying to Buffalo. I have a week to shoot this film. And then my husband has a week. He comes back and he's like, "That was the most boring time ever." He was like, "Who would ever want to be on a set?" It's so funny.
It's so funny because I interviewed somebody else who works on film and television. She's like, actually, I think Happy and I talked about this too, like how not glamorous it is, how it's like hard.
God, no.
You know, it's like not glamorous. So you really like,
not at all.
If that's your reasoning for getting into it or doing it, like find another reason. You better really like it. Like,
seriously. And love scenes are not glamorous either. They're very choreographed and they're very
awkward
awkward. Yeah, but they'll shoot it and it'll look good. You'll be like, oh, yeah, very different. But I think as actors, I always think of this one year, a couple years ago, I had 200 auditions. I'm all about numbers. This is a business. And I had booked 15. But so people are like, oh my God, you're working. Oh, you're doing this. I'm like, yeah, but I had 185 rejections. That's huge. Like, that's crazy.
But I'm like, 15 is
so you know huge. Though you know like that was a good year.
I'm like you know that's brilliant,
something, right?
Wow.
But then you
for those
see
of you
the
that
other
don't
side,
know,
and you're like, yeah, you're like 185. That's a lot of like, we don't want you, and you just have to kind of keep,
But also like what you just said, it's not even we don't want you. It, you know what? 85 of those could have been we want her. And then so much changes by the time that the role is picked, by the actor is picked, so many times things shift. So like, it's not so always, true. I think it's good for us to remind ourselves, it's not always we don't want you. There have been times where like I got put on hold or, you know, like, and they're like, actually for Ramona once, it was for this job that was going to Spain. And like, she's like, you're in for it. Like, hang tight. I think it's gonna, and then she was like, like it's, you know, and I was like, but I let it fly.
When it's like overseas.
Spain?
Oh my God.
I lived in Spain. Like, Spain is like my favorite place. I'm like, come on.
And you're like, I lived there. I know Spanish. This would be perfect.
My mother was from Argentina.
Like, you're like, this has to happen. I feel like anytime I'm like, all the stars have aligned. This is going to happen. And it just, it doesn't, which is like sad. But then you rebound.
You rebound. You just keep moving. And like, I don't want to let go really just yet of talking about your producing because I want to just link that right back to what you said about why not? And the thing is like, whatever happened with whatever outcome, with whatever project, tell me, I'll ask you. Now I ask you, did you learn a lot from doing that?
Oh my God, I learned, that was an education. So whatever I put into it, I learned so much. I learned about getting in touch with people, cold calling, following up with emails. Like I emailed this company and they did not respond. I emailed the next week. They did not respond. I emailed a week later and they were like, oh, hey, yeah, we were all reviewing it and your pitch. And sure, we'd love to meet with you. But if I did not follow up, if I did not craft the email, if I didn't, you know, there's all these things that you have to do. And you're hustling. You are constantly hustling as an actor just to, you know, as the business of acting, right? Like hopefully everyone's already working on their craft. That's another thing though. Like you got to make sure you're ready if
when you get the call, right? Exactly.
When you get the call, you can't be like, yeah, I'm a little rusty. It's like, no, you need to be fine-tuned and ready. It's so important though.
Where did you learn your work ethic, like for acting? How long have you been an actor?
Oh, it was a hobby. I'm also a licensed acupuncturist. And when I was in acupuncture school, So when I remember
you and Jen talking about that.
Yes. Oh my God. I knew her since acupuncture school. She was,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted. Yes, go ahead.
No, I always had an interest in acting. I just thought I was always too fat or not pretty, or I should be finding a solid job so that I could help my family pay bills. You know, like that was in my head. And then, you know, life strikes and disaster happens and you grow up a little bit. And then I went to acupuncture school, and one of the teachers is like, you know, you should take an acting class. I think everyone should. It will make you a better practitioner. And I started going to HB Studios, and I fell in love. And oh my God, I was so nervous. I couldn't leave the bathroom all morning. I was like, and I wanted more of that though. Like I wanted those nerves. I got addicted to getting nervous and excited and then, you know, like that feeling. So, but professionally, I know this is odd. The more kids I had, the more acting I did, because it was easier to hop into the city for an audition than have a full-blown practice, you know, seeing patients every week
100%.
and working late nights. And I wouldn't feel like that was a good, I wouldn't feel like the best practitioner if I wasn't giving my patients 100%, you know?
I get that.
So after our twins were born, I took it really seriously, and then started doing more of it. I started at Kimball Studios, doing really intense work with Kelly. And then a couple years ago, I started with, because I feel like Janine and Kelly are my acting mamas, you know, like they really like molded me. And then I feel like I needed, I know you probably feel the same, like different teachers bring out different things. So then I auditioned for MN Acting Studio. And oh my God, you have to audition, and my nerves, I was so nervous. And then he had a class waiting to go in. So they were all outside probably listening to the audition, right? Can you feel the nerves? You're like,
I'm like, Jesus.
But it was great. And I started there, and then I got my first legit agent, and I started booking more, and I started auditioning for their TV so much more. Like it was just such a great move. And I'm still with Kimball, but like I think it's good to like flex that muscle and with different teachers. They bring out different things in you.
It's funny because I remember my first acting teacher, he only lets you study with him for 2 years. And then he makes you graduate, and he thinks it's very important for our talent, our muscle to study with different people, because
I love that.
And I think it's a really wonderful thing, because I studied with Wynn Handman, I think after that. And Wynn Handman, like in just starting to work with me, told me one thing to do. He was like, you need a and I had never, it was a mantra, but I had never like learned mantra before. And it's not that my other acting teacher wouldn't think of that. It's just people see different things in us and direct us differently and work with us.
Totally.
And that was a huge one for me.
Oh
a mantra.
God. I love the mantras. Oh my God. Right before you go in, I have my like jump or fuck it or whatever it is to like just get you in that state of mind, whatever you need to just keep repeating so you don't self-sabotage.
Right. It's funny because I have those too, like the get out of my own way kind of things, but also for the character. Like if I would be in and out of the material, like whatever my character's like, I won't let him leave me, or like I won't let him and a mantra that it pulled me
as you
right
keep
back
going
into
through
my
the whole
script. Yes. And it like
oh my God, and it makes it so much more powerful.
If I started to lean out,
difference.
It brought me right back in, which was like so powerful. You know
and
that
I think
as an actor.
each teacher, you have different tools that they have. They have like these bundle of tools, and why not get them, absorb them. And I just want to keep getting better and better. Like I really, like fine tune me, like just show me.
Yes.
And as actors, you always get the videos after the classes to that no one ever wants to watch. And I make myself, I used to need like a glass of wine to sit down
to watch
and be like, okay, you're not going to look at all your imperfections. You're going to look at the eyes.
Yeah.
Are your eyes saying anything there?
Do I believe
what were you thinking?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so important to critique your performance to get better. I really believe that.
And it's funny because for those of you that aren't actors or don't know anything about this, like a lot of actors have a hard time watching themselves on camera or watching their work. And for those reasons that Stacey, that you just said, that it's like you looking at everything your face does. It's like, that's what I look like when I do that. Or that's like, oh God, oh my God, my nose.
What what angle is that? I will never do that again. Yeah.
Please tell me that's the lighting. Like,
I know.
I remember seeing.
We will see things. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I remember seeing Samuel L. Jackson like on being interviewed, and he was like, "I know that actors say they don't like to watch themselves." He's like, "I'm not one of them. I love to watch myself in movies. I will watch myself over and over again." He's like, "I can't get enough of watching myself," and I was like, "Good for you, man. That's awesome."
That is awesome. But wait, I love that he said that, because there have been moments, I'm not gonna lie, where I'm like, where I wasn't thinking at that moment in that performance, and I'll rewind it and I'll rewind it. And I'm like, how did I get there? Is it like, I think I believe myself. Like, I'll give myself props, but like, it's almost
That's
unbelievable
a great thing
for me.
Right. Because it's kind of cool, and it's so interesting watching yourself. And
yeah,
but for almost, if you can for a second forget it's yourself and actually be involved in the emotional, what's happening with the character emotionally, it's like that's
totally
truly a gift to be able to get out of watching yourself. And so gosh. It's like, what did I do? How did I do that?
Right. And as a producer, you have to do that. If you're producing your own work, you have to look at it and you have to be like, this did not work, or this worked for me. And to have no ego about it, because, you know, I might look better in this scene or with this lighting, but my performance sucked. Then I don't want that one. You know, I want the one where maybe I look worse, but the performance, it's all about the performance.
It's all about the performance. I know. And that's why, like, yeah. Go ahead. I was going to say, even with my headshots, like when I'll do a play date with myself, like I know that some of the pictures that are better headshots or would be better shots, I don't like the way my nose looks. And I think it looks huge because it's like whatever, but I know it's a better shot. I know something is working, and you have to just kind of be objective. No ego about it. Yeah.
Right, you really do, because I mean, it takes so much practice. You have to step out of it, and sometimes you need someone to be like, "That's the headshot. That's you. This is what you know, like what you did with that guy." Like, sometimes we need that external force. I think casting directors, I mean, are great. They have the best eye for being able to, because you're picking things out. You're picking people out. You see it all the time, so you'll know what to look for more than many other people. So so important.
Are you studying right now?
You got to get your new shots.
Yes, I know. I'm like, and I'm doing it with my friend, actually my friend Lauren Tobe, whose children's show that we just created. And so hopefully sooner than later, knock wood. I wanted to ask you something. So I need to be working that muscle right now. I need to be studying. I need to get back into class. I don't need to. I want to. I've actually asked different actor friends of mine, do you want to start working on a play, even over Zoom, but you want to start?
Love it.
I need to start working that muscle again.
We have to. Oh, yeah. I've been doing privates with Matt Newton. He'll do in person in Connecticut. I'm not sure if he's doing New York yet, but just recently, because I just needed to start flexing that muscle because auditions are coming in again, and it's so important to just try and do that. I know many other people, because I did reach out to other people to see if they were doing in person, and I don't know many people who are, but Zoom also is good, because so many of the Zoom sessions, you know, these teachers are telling you where to look and to use the stuff around you as props. Now you can do that in these Zoom auditions, and how to set up the camera and all of that. So I think it's great to do that. I just haven't done any of the Zoom classes, because 3 hours at home, like I did try one with Kelly Kimball at one point, and she's amazing. And I'm in the class, and it's like a good scene, you know, and I'm pumped up for it. And they're like, all right, Stacey, it's your turn to go. And I can hear like my son walking in. I could hear like someone having a meltdown downstairs. I was like, you know what? You know, it's just not going to work for me. I want to be the actor to be like, and I compartmentalized all that, and I gave my best performance, but no, it did not happen.
Like, it's so funny, because like my old acting teacher, like you could be on stage and really in like a very crucial, emotional, pivotal point in your scene with your scene partner, and somebody opens the door, they're late to class, and they go like, and they like stay at the door, they don't want to make noise. He's like, come on in. He would like make you cross the stage while they were working. And he's like, God. And he would say like, and it makes a lot of sense. He goes, if you're going to work in this business and you're going to be on set, you better get used to distractions. Nobody is going to try and be quiet for you. Nobody is going to. So the better that you can get at blocking all of that out and being able to get there, these are actually like good things for you to be distracted, to have amazing. The distractions.
Right.
It's hard.
Yeah. Still did not want to do more classes on that. Like that. But you're right. I should rise to that challenge and I should do that. But
when my students, because I teach class on Zoom, I've been doing it throughout all of quarantine. And it's like, I love it. But I also know like if I could hear something and I'm like, everything all right? And it's like, you know, somebody has kids or it happens. Like it happens. That's really hard. Yeah.
Like it's true. And I miss that connectedness with people. I miss that energy of the nerves when you go to class and you have all your peers there and I want to throw up and I'm just holding my character in my head and all of that I love. Like, I know that sounds sick, but I do.
I was like, that's great that you love that. Wonderful.
Too. And then you get critiqued and you have to do it again. And you're like, oh my God, can I get there again? Mm-hmm. And that's always fun. And then to have the right coach be like, okay, stop, do it again, do it like this, try and cry at this word or this line, like that kind of thing. And you're like, okay, and can I do it? Maybe. You know, it's such a great challenge and just to do that.
It's so fun. I know. I love it for my students. Like I'll give them direction, they redo it, but like even then they're in the middle of doing it, their piece again. And I'm so obnoxious, but I'm like, nope, stop, do it. And blah, 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 blah. I want you to like I'll interrupt while they're doing it. I'm like, louder, or like they're probably like, Jesus.
Good, because sometimes I'm like, you let me go through that, because sometimes as an actor you already know you're messing up, you already know that you checked out like 3 lines in, so you're like, I gotta finish it. So when you have a coach to be like, take it back, you know, and as a class, if the coach isn't doing that, you're watching the teacher being like, why aren't they saying anything, or will they say something, you know, like it's interesting.
It's funny, one of my a student, also a friend of mine, told me yesterday, I asked for feedback about certain teaching things, and one thing that he did share with me was like, you don't need to like say it all. You can't possibly like keep it simple. Like there's only so much you can give someone. I try and give everything to help to everyone, and there's no possible way. That's why we have multiple classes. That's why there's multiple times you work on something, because I can't give everything at one given second. I need to keep it simple.
Nor as an actor can you accept everything.
No.
Like I'm running through this, it's like, okay, if you give me 5 things to work on, I'm like, but if you give me 1 or 2, okay, now I got something to go with.
All right, so you want me to be more blah, blah, and da, da, da.
Yeah.
It's funny because my friend I was talking to yesterday, he's actually, and I was saying this to him, I'm like, I think I'm just realizing it very, very strongly for you right now. I can give him like 7 different things because I'm like, blah, 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 with him.
Yeah.
And he processes it. And he's like, I'm like, did I just give you way too much? And he's always just like, I think I got that. And that's he does. For him, it's like a puzzle.
Wow.
He goes,
I love it.
And I was saying that to him yesterday. I'm like, that's huge. As actors, I feel like that would throw me. That is huge.
But then I guess it depends on, as the coach, you're going to see which actor you can give 2 to and which actor to give 7.
Yes.
There was this great class I took, and it was an improv class, but it was kind of like that, where you were given a scenario to work out, but then someone would whisper to you and say, you have a broken arm, and someone else would whisper, green, and then someone else would whisper, you hate your partner, and someone else would whisper something else like that, an emotion, say, like hit anger. And by getting all of those things, you realize what you can hit or not hit in that scene, but it's teaching you how to juggle and add differences and change in the scene, and you know, you can surprise yourself how much you do retain. I remember Kelly Kimball, she was like,
so
I did a scene and she just said one thing to me. She was like, nipple energy, Stacey, nipple energy. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what you mean, but I'm going to go with it.
What does she mean? What did
like, put yourself out there, throw it back, and I'll tell you, the scene was so much better. Like, sometimes you just need one thing.
It's really, I know. Sometimes,
right?
Oh my God. Sometimes that thing is like, it doesn't even necessarily like make sense, but it makes sense and it works.
It's
like,
does.
I think like you just said, like throw it back, put yourself out there. And that's how, if I had to make sense of that, that's what I would have done. I would have been like, all right, bring it, you know?
Oh yeah. She's great.
She's funny.
Like, you sometimes just need one thing, but sometimes you do need to work with it. It's interesting. How fun for you as a coach though, to help mold and give these actors gifts like to play with.
I love it because I believe that if we're talented, if we're actors, it's within us. But I think in life, I know I need support in life and I always have, and I didn't always have support or guidance. And so to have somebody that cares to really see me and invest in me would be the biggest gift. And like, I genuinely want to do that. I genuinely am with my students. Like I love seeing what they're capable of and I love pushing because I know they can do, like, I'm even like getting choked up like that. If we all had people in life that could just be with us, believe in us from the time that we were young, if life were that simple and it were, you know, life didn't happen the way it does, like, we heard all the voices, we got pushed at just the right times with just the right things, but life's hard and we don't always have that. I know. Yeah. So like if there's a space or a time that I'm able to give a piece of that, it's like the best feeling in the world.
Oh yeah. And you get to see the results. You get to see them become more confident. You get to see their performances grow. You get to see all that, which is just so rewarding. And you know what? As an actor, you don't get that reward. So it's pretty, you rarely do.
You have to like find it within yourself because otherwise,
like,
you know.
Oh, that was good. I felt like that was good. Was it good? But yeah, exactly. But as a teacher, you can actually see your students grow and change and book jobs and see things that they may not have seen in themselves before. And that is so wonderful. That's a gift for sure.
It's such a gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew. I always knew I wanted to be an actor. I never knew that I was a director or a teacher or coach. I never knew those things. Yeah. And like, I'll get off my classes and my boyfriend's just like, do you see how happy you are? Like, it makes me, it just moves me like wait.
It's the best. It's the best feeling. And
I thought I interrupted you. I was like,
no, it's the best feeling. Well, I was just going to say, you forgot to mention host of a podcast as well. Like add that bag in your bag of tricks. But seriously though, it is the best feeling. And I remember as a practitioner, I have migraines. So I remember going in to treat patients for the day and I'd have a migraine. I'd be so upset, you know, like just in my head. But by the end of the day, my migraine was gone because all the focus was not on my migraine. It was on other people and making them feel better and more comfortable. And for some reason, there's something to be said about that too. You know, just focusing on other people, getting outside your head, and there's something beautiful about that. Yeah.
I love that
you're doing it.
I love that. I'm like, I love that you do that. And I love that I could so see that for you. Yeah. That you're giving and that, it's such a gift to be able to give. And I think unless you experience it and I think it's pretty amazing.
I'm definitely more of a giver in the sense that I'd rather like shower other people with a little love and attention. You do it for me. And I'm like,
it's amazing, right? Like,
right.
I so clearly for any of my actors, like, I'm just like, no, take it. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Like, cause it's true. Yeah. Whether you want to say no or not, don't say no. But for myself, if anybody says anything like you're talented, or anything, I'm just like, no. And it's like, no, it's like so uncomfortable. And like, I don't know how to
get better. I'm trying to just to be like, someone said, just say thank you. So sometimes I'll be like,
me too.
Thank you. And then I'm like, God, that sounds so smug. I'm like, I should have said something more, something like, thank you. I think that about you. And it's like, no, just take it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody once said that to me too. Just say thank you, because if somebody, and I still do it and I catch myself, but somebody would be like, something nice. And I'm like, oh, well, that's just because of that. No. Mm-hmm. And not
oh my
just.
God. I know what you're talking about. You put yourself down. Like I do the same thing. It's like, oh, I only booked that because there were 3 people there. And I
just
know.
Because it's just that. No, it's not just anything.
Yeah. We kind of put ourselves a little lower to just make them feel a little bigger. And and it's really, it's not a good habit.
No, we don't need to shrink ourselves.
No, we really don't. But
and I'm learning that more and more.
Isn't that crazy? But I do feel like, how did that even start? Where you feel like you have to shrink down and kind of make your achievements small just to make someone feel better. But again, maybe it's our way of we think of others. I always think of others first, like in that way, like I'll give you the oxygen first. Yes. And if there's any left, I'll take some,
But it's like, I know, but I also, for me anyway, and I'm over quarantine, it's been more and more something that I've seen more and more in myself, that I need to really look at that. Why don't I feel like I can take up space? Why don't I feel like I deserve space to be good, to acknowledge? And like doing this podcast was a big like F you to my old voice that is like, no, like what do you have to do? What do you have to? It's like, didn't matter if this failed or not. Like,
why not?
And it was not. It started to become not about me. Once I made it not about me, and like, oh, but I don't look great, or I'm during quarantine. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I can never do anything if I do that. So
it's so true. Actually, it made me think about another reason why I actually did the acting more professionally is because it's kind of like that thing. My stepfather, he was writing a book for many, many years. And he would come home and spend hours writing in these notebooks. And then all of a sudden, he literally slipped on shit, hit his head, and died 2 weeks later. And his dream was to write a book. And it wasn't my dream to be an actor, but it was my dream to like do more. Like I felt like I had to do more. And again, life is short and you don't know what's going to happen. And so why not do something? Why not put yourself out there? I love that you put yourself out there and you are taking up space. And look at all these great people coming to you and you're interviewing these amazing human beings and your space is like
including
getting bigger
you.
And bigger. Thank you. I'll just take it.
Yes.
But I think that it's so important to do that. And I don't know why. I think as women, we do it more. Right?
Yes,
like I think
I do.
I
think it's kind of ingrained. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But you said something like, had I not done this because of my own things and within myself, I would have missed out on the opportunity to spend wonderful time during this crazy time with people that I would have never known more. I would have never known how wonderful Happy was, or
so great.
My other guests. Like I got to know other human beings as them in a better way, and I'm better for it.
Oh yeah.
Why would I not? Sure. So anyway,
keep going, Sammy. Yeah. Keep going.
Both of us, each day, just keep trying to do it. So I'm going to ask you, a day at a time. I want to ask you, so there is a portion of my show and it is called The Feather in Your Cap. And so
I forgot about this one.
Yes. I'm always like, if they've watched it, then they're going to know, they're going to prepare one. I'm like, what's the feather in your cap? And you're like,
it's so funny you say that because I remember you asking that to David and he was one of your first people on. And I'm like,
yes,
God, what would be my feather in my cap? And I did not know.
I know. And so do you know what I mean by feather in your cap?
Explain it to me again. Yeah.
Yes. maybe it's a success or an achievement, something that you've learned that is kind of like I'll put that in the bag for later. Like I'll put that, like that has served me. I'll bring it with me, and maybe I can use that later on in life. Maybe it will help me. Maybe it will help somebody else. And that used to, when I explain it, there was somebody that was like a mentor for me in my life. He was kind of like a second dad for me. And he would, whenever I would go through something really difficult and be processing it and stuff, he's like, that's a feather in your cap. And it was like, okay, even though it felt painful, even though I couldn't see it at the time, that's a good learning lesson. That is something that I can look back to later that will remind me whatever. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so.
And if you would have one that you'd share.
Okay, so it could be, well, I guess I had a lot of like depression and anxiety as like a teenager. And I think that when I got into my early 20s, I don't know if this is the right answer. There is no wrong answer.
I was like, be you.
I would say, I definitely was suicidal. Like I had suicidal thoughts and all of that. But I think when I figured out that I wanted to live, I wanted to make it a really great life. You know what I mean? Like I really wanted to, what's the point? We have one time on this earth, right? So if we have one time to be here, why wouldn't we make it the best life we can? And so I think that was a moment where I just, don't make me cry because I'm going to cry if you're crying.
It's too late.
I'm sorry.
No, it's wonderful.
I really feel like when you really want to live, you have to put one foot in front of the other and you have to do something. And we can be the writers of our lives if we want to be. I mean, there's so much we can't control, but there is so much we can control. So why not take control of it and get up and do something, whatever it is. And I think you asked me about my work ethic, and my dad, I would wake up to him working and I would go to bed to him working. And I feel like that, in order to live, you just keep doing. And I don't know, I want us both to have a great life.
I want us both to have a great life too. Yeah. Thank you for thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. That was a absolutely beautiful feather. And it was so you and honest. And I think that that's the beautiful thing that you have to offer is you and your experience exactly as it is. And without having to think of the right thing to say, or was that too much to share, too little to share? Is this the right kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's exactly you. And so thank you for sharing exactly you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
I'm
sure. Like the turtle. I'm going to go back into my shell now.
That's like, and just know that that's within you. Like for me on the other end receiving this, and I'm sure that anybody that listens or watches this is so grateful that you shared that and and so many more people can identify with that than ever get the chance to speak up about. So I think it helps others. I really do. So
thank you.
Thank you so much.
I hope so. Honestly, it's selfish, but I really like helping others. It makes me feel good. It really does. I love that we're twinning.
I know. This is just the greatest. I just want to say on that, what you just shared.
Yes.
It's very funny because people think I'm very extroverted, and that is definitely a part of me, but I've also in life gone through very, very tough, depressed times, and I can still struggle with deeply feeling, period. But I'm very, very private. I don't share. There are friends that I've had in my life for a bazillion years, and they don't know like most shit actually about me, which is kind of crazy.
I gotta watch out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I say it's it's an amazing thing, right? And then when I'm teaching, it's so strange because I'll share something very personal about myself that I wouldn't even tell somebody in a conversation, but because it may help them in that moment to understand or to relate, I share something that is private, which is so weird, but because it becomes not about me. So
yeah, it's so funny. I've had that experience before too, where I've done that, where it's like I'll be in an intimate moment and I can't share it, but I can do it in front of people that I don't necessarily know that well, because I know somehow or other that'll help them. Somehow or other it will resonate with them more than anyone else. You know, in that intimate moment, it's more about me, and that's a little more uncomfortable.
Yes, that's a little right. That's I think we're very similar in more ways than I would have known. Very interesting, Stace. So tell people where they can keep up with you and everything that you've been doing, that you're gonna be doing.
Okay, well, I know on
your social media.
That's on there. But in 2 weeks, I'm also producing something that is premiering at North Fork. We didn't even get to some of the new stuff. North Fork TV Festival. It's called Super User Do. And there's a premiere, and it got into this festival. This amazing playwright, Zuf Idris, young guy. He got this scholarship, this grant from Alfred Sloan Foundation, and we produced this this pilot. And so it's premiering in 2 weeks in Long Island, Norfolk. It's a great festival. It's a drive-in festival this year. I've been working with Elias Plagianos, who is amazing.
Yeah.
So like sometimes, speaking of other producers, I met him through a friend over years, and she was just like, you got to meet Elias because you guys are going to hit it off. And I was like, okay. We meet at a festival, and sure enough, we're on set, and it's like shorthand. It's so amazing. And so this is our second thing we're producing together, and it's great.
That's
and
amazing.
It's all about these young engineers and in this coding world, and it's very cool. It was the first time I'm not acting in something I'm producing, and it was kind of liberating, Sammy. Like, I mean, it was nice being on set and just watching the actors, you know, and watching what's going on. So that's in 2 weeks. Very exciting.
That's wonderful. And just so I know, can people go to that? Is this something that they can? And you could tell me the name of that festival. I could put it
North
in the
Fork
description.
TV Festival. Yep, definitely.
Okay.
I'll email you too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
And so if anybody is able to, and to go out there, that's,
oh my gosh, go to a winery and then go to the festival.
That's what I'm like. That's what a day.
Doesn't that sound perfect?
Seriously, what's the date of it? Just so I know. When's the date?
That is October 17th.
Okay.
It's a great festival, but here's the thing: this year there's no mingling, and I missed it this year. But this one, people are in the cars, but there's going to be a little something outside beforehand, and it'll be cool. A lot of fun. It's the
time we're in. We work with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. We do what we got to do. So anyway,
I'm so happy. I'm glad you shared that. I love you so much. You
really,
too.
This is great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stacey, thank you so much for being here and for being your wonderful self. And guys, keep this thing going. Keep us connected. Like, rate, subscribe, and you can follow Stacey. I'll put her info in with this episode if you didn't just listen to it clear enough. But we love you. We thank you. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yay.